Oh, I did it again. I bloody muted myself. I literally can't make it through a stream without a technical issue. Sorry, guys. Really, really sorry. You didn't miss much. I was just saying, welcome to the stream, blah, blah, blah. I was answering Einar's question about which defenders are captainable. And I was saying, I don't think there's that many defenders which are captainable. Dina could be one, because Southampton look like the whipping boys. You know, they've got two decent fixtures, Southampton at home, West Brom away. Maybe a City defender like Diaz, but the problem is Stones. I don't know if he'll play both. I hope he does. Cancelo played in the Champions League. Really sorry about starting the stream off muted. It's the biggest double game week in FPL history. So that's my bad for getting that one wrong. Full start. Prowie says. We've restarted. All good, all good. Anyway, this is my team. This is how I'm lining up. The other thing I was saying was that there's so many good captain options for this one. And it's really hard to pick, you know, who's the best option of the bunch. Whoops. This is all over the place. I was trying to mute the Discord as well so you don't hit the notification. Bloody hell. I'm a bit rusty. Yeah, so Bruno, I mean, in my team alone, there's 4 decent captain options. Bruno's a standout, Salah's a standout, Kane is, DCL, even potentially Son, but I'm not sure about Son. Dina could be. So it's a really, really tough one, the captaincy. James Yap, hoping it can justify taking a -8 to bring in Kane and Thomas for Sufal and Bamford. Oh, interesting moves. Is that Leicester's Thomas? Yeah, Thomas played in left back in Leicester's last game. So that's something I'll get onto in a moment actually, because Castagna still started. He played right back, which meant that Pereira was playing right mid, out of position Pereira. So Pereira is a really strong option as well for the double game week, I feel. HS Lee, strong rumours that Watkins is out. Yeah, so this all started from one Twitter account, Hindu Monkey, who reported the Grealish injury news early. So, you know, there could be something to it. He could be injured. I really hope it's not true. But we did see, following all the drama last week with the leaks, that Dean Smith was he was pretty upset about it. So I don't know whether there is any truth in it or whether he's perhaps just trying to, you know, find out who the leak is. Maybe he went to 5 different backroom staff and he said, "Hello, mate. Yeah, Watkins is injured." And then the next one he said, "Oh, Barkley's injured." And then the next one he went to said, you know, "Oh, Martinez is injured." And then whichever one ends up on Twitter, he's found his leak. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But it's interesting. Very interesting. I hope he's not injured. Off my bench, I would just have Mitchell if he plays. Anyway, let's get into the news roundup. Worrying news for anyone that's got Pickford in goal for Everton. Ancelotti said he will continue to rotate keepers until the end of the season. I assume he's talking about his squad and not on FPL. Because I'm an advocate of having a set and forget keeper on FPL. Don't rotate your keepers. It often goes wrong if you have 2 4.5s. No, but he's talking about Pickford and Olsen here. So, yeah, something to keep an eye on, but not great news for anyone that's got Pickford. Liverpool news. Henderson's undergone surgery on a groin injury and is likely to be sidelined for 6 to 8 weeks. It just gets worse and worse for Liverpool, doesn't it? You just can't think it can't get any worse than this. And then the next game happens and someone else gets injured. This player's out for the season. So yeah, they've got Van Dijk out, Gomez out, Matip out. I don't know if Fabinho's back, Henderson's out. So we could see maybe like Kabak and Phillips centre-back pairing, which I think would be another new centre-back pairing from Liverpool. On to Villa. Grealish is out for the trip to Leeds tomorrow, according to Dean Smith anyway. I don't know if we can trust him anymore. He said the latest is he's got a little bit of pain, not too much. Hopes to have him back for Sheffield United on Tuesday. Matty Cash is back in light training. And Wesley, their other striker, is back in full contact within the next week or two. I'd love to know what you guys think of these comments from Dean Smith. He said, regarding FPL, he said, I don't play it. I live in the real world, not the fantasy world. Yes, I'm aware of it. Am I aware that it could be tracked? No. I don't think a lot of the other players and staff were as well. I don't know what he thinks he is talking about us like that, saying we live in a fantasy world. Pure disrespect from Smith there. Anyway, he said, I've reminded everybody at the football club of their responsibilities of being a member of staff at an elite football club. I'm sure they won't be certainly making the same mistakes again after knowing what they know now. So I did actually have a brief look at this, and all the Villa players are still in FPL. So there was, reports that he'd banned them all from FPL, but their accounts are still all active. So it's going to be interesting to see what develops going forward. So Mourinho, I can't believe these comments either. Mourinho on Vinicius. In the Premier League, he is going to play because we have so many matches that Kane cannot play. This is horrendous. This is not what I wanted to hear as a Kane captain right before the biggest double game week in FPL history. But it is what it is. It could just be comments. It could just be that Vinicius comes on late in games, Kane comes off early. Yeah, not great to hear that from Mourinho. I mean, it's like telling a kid on Christmas Eve, Santa doesn't always come every year. But fingers crossed, Kane plays both. So I fancy him to do well against this side, Southampton. Romeo will be sidelined for a minimum of 3 months, and Hasenhüttl confirms that the Spaniard's season is over. Minamino is also out of the Everton game, so he joins Walcott, Diallo, Kyle Walker-Peters and several others. So this is what makes the Kane captaincy even more appealing for me, because they're missing so many players. Obviously, they sold Højbjerg to Spurs, who was a pretty solid defensive player. And now they've lost Romeo, so I'm not even sure who they'll end up in centre mid defensively. Maybe Jankovic, but he's got to be in Hasenhüttl's bad books after getting sent off against Man United. In what was it, like the 2nd minute? The last bit of the news is something I talked about earlier. So in an interview with Pereira, he was talking about playing down the wing for Leicester. And he basically enjoys playing in that position. And we saw Luke Thomas playing left back for Leicester and Castagna right back. So that meant Pereira was able to play down the right wing. So he could be a very good option out of position for the double game week. That's the news roundup. Aiden FPL FN, you're not late, don't worry, mate. James Yap, yeah, Leicester's Thomas need a 4.2 to bring in Kane to potentially triple captain, but it'd be a -8 hit. Yeah, slim pickings in the 4.2 range. I mean, I'm not sure if Thomas will play both, but yeah, he's a decent pick if they carry on lining up in the same way. They've obviously got Christian Fuchs that can play left back as well, but I think he's more of a backup these days, and Thomas is one for the future. Massive thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. Appreciate you all being here. Aiden, El Padrino, Falston's here. Hendo, James, Mr. A, Only for Fun, Stuart, Tim. I didn't see Falston sneak in. Oh, there you are. So Falston is my mate in real life, and he streams on Twitch. And he basically gave me the idea to make this channel and to stream FPL. So thanks to Falston in the chat that I'm doing this and I made this channel. I've actually mentioned Falston's before. I was quite excited when I overtook him on followers on Twitch. Which reminds me, if anyone's not subbed to the channel, don't forget to hit the sub button while you're here and like the video. So you triple captain Kane, Falston? Good man. Yeah, I've gone Kane captain. Mr. A, Mourinho wants to give Vinicius more confidence, I believe. Might get more minutes, but surely not starting ahead of Kane. No, I wouldn't think so. I interpret that as Vinicius will come on perhaps late in games. I'd be very surprised to see him starting, in honesty, against Burnley or Fulham. Because Spurs aren't in a good position, by the way. They absolutely have to string together some wins now. Currently 9th in the table, which is not good. Do you think if he gets any more bad results, he has to be on the chopping block, right? Let's get on to the scout picks for Game Week 26. This is who they've picked. So they've got Martinez, Cancelo, Digne, Shaw, Salah, Bruno captain, Barnes, Gundogan, Lookman, Kane and DCL. I think they've actually got a really strong team here this week. Sometimes they'll pick some really questionable players, but I do rate this team. Maybe Cancelo's a slightly iffy one, because he did play in the Champions League midweek. The other thing that worries me about City is they've got this really strong double game week, West Ham and Wolves at home. But then in game week 27, their first fixture of that double is Man United, which is obviously a really important fixture. So I do wonder and worry if we'll see some players' minutes managed. Chanif, hi mate, who would you captain between Kane and Bruno? It's a really tough one between those two. I mean, I wouldn't want to call it and get it wrong for you. And I wish I had the crystal ball to tell you that one. Bruno's obviously more consistent. He's scored more points than anyone since joining the Premier League last year. So on paper, he's the better pick. But his fixtures aren't as good as Spurs. So it's a really tough one. And Chelsea have been really solid defensively since Tuchel's come in, which worries me a bit about that first game. And then, of course, as I mentioned, in game week 27, Man United play Man City. So I do wonder if we'll see his minutes managed a little bit as well. You know, say if they go 3-0 up against Palace, you might see him come off in the 60th minute, for example. So that's the scout pick team for game week 26. We will continue to track it every week and see how they did. Miro, DCL captain. DCL is a really strong captain as well. I mean, this is the headache for those of us that have got multiple of these players. DCL is a really strong pick. Southampton home, West Brom away. Southampton, the whipping boys at the moment. And it's a shame what's happened to them, because at one point I think they broke into the top 4. So, you know, I think their season's expectations went from, let's see if we can surprise a few people, to, well, let's try and avoid relegation. You know, Romeo's out for the season now, so they're so light. They've got so many injuries that I just can't see them not conceding a few against the teams they play. And Everton, a team in form, of course. So I like the DCL captaincy. I really do. And of course, West Brom as well. Very strong second fixture. I think I had some data here on West Brom, unless I lost it. Where was it? Got so many tabs open. Is it this? No. Well, let's get on to this anyway. This is the all-time record for the double game weeks, which was 226 points from a bench boost. This was in the, I think this was the 2015-2016 season. So he actually didn't even pick the best captain. He could have scored even higher here if he'd gone for Aguero captain. But he went for Sanchez captain, which was still 50 points, to be fair. You'd take that, wouldn't you, from your captain in the double game week? I wonder if we'll see it broken. As I mentioned, this is the biggest double game week of the season. Of the season ever. 14 teams with a double game week. We've never seen anything like this. Unprecedented game week. No pressure. But I wonder if we'll see that record broken or not. The other thing we'll continue to track is the kings of the game week. So this is it as it stands, and we're still yet to have a repeat player this season. And there's quite a few players here that stand out to me that have a double game week. The likes of Salah, Son, DCL. There's a few City players in there. So could this be the first season that we end up with a repeat in the Kings of the Game Week? It's interesting that we've seen it dominated by defenders as of late. So we had Foden in game week 23, but besides that, from game week 25 all the way back to game week 15, it was defenders. What do you guys think? Will we have the first repeat Kings of the Game Week? I note that Kane's not made it yet. Perhaps we'll continue the streak of unique players and it'll be Kane that joins the Kings of the Game Week. I hope so, since he's my captain. Caramel Crunch, Salah in or out? I would say if you've got him, you don't sell him. Definitely not. I know Liverpool are really out of form, but I wouldn't want to sell him because that Sheffield fixture looks very, very good on paper. But it does depend who you're selling him for, of course. You know, if you're selling him for Kane and you think Kane will do better, then sure, it makes sense. But I'm personally happy to hold Salah. You know, at the end of the day, Salah is Salah. And despite how bad Liverpool have been, he's still been doing fairly well. Was there a question about my triple captaincy? Yeah, I used mine on Salah, actually. Speak of the devil, in game week 19. For his bloody, what was it, 3 or 4 points he got. Yeah, I used it just here when he had Man United and Burnley at home. He got 4 points. You know, he's been in fairly good form in all competitions, despite Liverpool's bad form. So I'm more than happy to have him. No plans to sell Salah. And of course, in game week 27, they've got Fulham at home, which is a very, very strong fixture as well. Finn says, is Thomas nailed? Would be a bargain for a Leicester defender? If so, I would say he's not nailed, no. I know someone in chat had brought him in. I forget who it was. Was it Einar? You know, he's definitely an option, but he's just not nailed. They've got Christian Fuchs who can play left back. They've got Castagna that can play left back and right back. And of course, they've got Pereira who can play right back, but he has been playing out of position in right mid. So Pereira is a very strong option as well. Out of position, as we mentioned earlier in the stream. So this is something very interesting. This is from FPL Black Box, and they've basically put together 4 potential double game week captains. And what they've done here is they've split their game weeks into pairs, so you could consider them as mini double game weeks. So for example, Bruno, he started in game week 2, he obviously blanked in 1, so 2 and 3 would be a mini double. And what Mark Sutherland has done here is calculated the points that those players would have got in those mini double game weeks. And what really stands out to me here is if you look at Kane, only twice has he blanked in a mini double game week, which was the 9-10 pairing and the 13-14 pairing. And if you look at the size that Spurs played in those pairings, it was basically, you know, elite teams, or top 6, whatever you want to call them. Man City and Chelsea, Liverpool and Leicester. But besides that, if you look at Kane's mini double game week pairings, he's put up massive hauls. So this is something that really stood out to me when I was looking at, you know, who to potentially captain. So I'm quite happy to have the armband on Kane with this in mind. Perhaps it's drawing conclusions from data that's meaningless, but I thought that was interesting, and there is obviously a trend here, in my opinion, over the course of the season. But all 4 of these are standouts, to be honest. I won't go too much into the Goalscorer Odds because there's so much, but I don't even know if it'll all fit on screen. But these are the Goalscorer Odds for all of the fixtures we've got in this double game week. I'm just going to catch up on chat. Rohan, captain choice, Son or Salah? If I had to pick between the two, I'd say Salah. Mr. A, Ricardo Pereira, king of game week 26. Yeah, if we have another bloody defender again, it wouldn't surprise me though. We could end up with like a Dino or a Pereira, or maybe someone random like Regulon ends up being the king. FPL Kit, you think Leicester assets are underrated at the moment? They are. Vardy would have been a standout for the double game week, but what worries me is that he played the full 90 in the Europa League. You know, so has he got the legs to still play back-to-back matches? You know, midweek, weekend, midweek. But they've got a lot of very strong players. The only problem as well is that Maddison's out injured, so I do wonder what effect that will have. I wanted to share something new here. This is really cool. This is from FPLbot.app. That's the website. And on the subject of all these Premier League players playing FPL, they've put together a virtual mini league of all the Premier League players. I think this is brilliant. So Justin is actually the top out of all the Premier League players in the mini league. He's 15.9k overall rank. I mean, the rest of them are doing pretty horrendous, to be honest with you. Next top is McGinn, 225k. Bartley, Maguire's 600k. Target got in trouble because of his team name. I won't say what his team name was on stream, but FPL actually changed his team name to change name because it was inappropriate for FPL. And then rock bottom is our boy Bissouma. Bissouma, who has had himself set and forget captain all season, and I'm sure he will continue to do so. Let's have a look at his team. 16 points for Bissouma in Game Week 25. He did have the armband on himself, so he did get the 4 points. He's got Van Dijk, Pogba, Willian. He must be playing anti-FPL at this point. But yeah, that's FPL.app if anyone wants to check that out. I thought that's quite a neat little website that they've put together there. Babel says, Son captain. He's not the worst shout, but I do think there's better shouts than Son. You know, from Spurs alone, I think there's a better shout, which is Kane. I'd say Bruno's a better pick than Son. DCL probably is as well. Chanuf says, the mini double game week pairing has sealed it for me. Kane captain locked in 100%. There's no way I can change your mind, Chanuf. There's still a lot of this stream to go. We still need to look at the expected points, the captain poll results. But since we're at the halfway mark of this stream, let's take a breath for a minute and let's play Who's That Player? So for anyone that's not played before, it'll be a cutout of a player and you have to try and work out which player it is. So let's start off with this one. Who is that player? Arms behind the back. Interesting posture. Some of them have got the arms down by the side. He's gone for the arms behind the back. Or maybe in front of him. You can't tell from the cutout. Chanif says it's Thiago. It's not Thiago. Good guess. I can see why. It does look like Thiago, actually. Hendo says Wilson. It's not Wilson. This one's a difficult one. It's not Mane. Not Richarlison. Not Wilson. Not Bruno. Not Cody. Adam, Generic Man 1. It's not Generic Man 1. Not Rafinha. A couple of you got it. Have you got it now? I can see. Not El Ghazi. Not Mane. Not Johnstone. It is a keeper. The answer was... Yeah, you guys have got it. Martinez. A lot of good guesses there. Okay, on to the next one. Perhaps this one's a little bit easier. I might have started with the most difficult of the three. Different pose here. The arms are not behind the back here. They're outside, trying to look like a big man. Oh, you guys know this one. That one was easy, right? It's funny how you can tell a player just from their cutout like that. I mean, what is it? What is it specifically that's the giveaway? Because there is something, you look at this and you can tell who it is, but what is it? Something gives it away. Is it the hair? Is it his ears? The pose? All three? Grove last name got it. It's Akinfenwa. No, it's not. It's Kane. Well done, guys. Alright, you ready for the last one? Oh, I feel like this one's even easier. I've done it in the wrong order, haven't I? got hardest to easiest. Who is that player? Hendo says Dina, Chanif Dina, Finn Dina, Patrius Dina, Adam says Dina, Hussein says Dina, Carl says Dina, Grove Dina. Imagine the scenes if this isn't Dina. No, you guys know your FPL assets from their cutouts, don't you? This one's got to be the hair as well, right? It's the hair that gives it away. It was Dina, who I brought in this week. So I'm hoping for good things from him. Something that's not been talked about on this stream yet is that Villa and Everton could end up with a double game week 28. So if you go on to Ben Crellin's ticker here, this is the double game week ticker. 25's been and gone. We've got the 26, which is the big one. 27, we've got the mini double game week, which is Southampton against Sheffield and Man City. And Man City have got Man United and Southampton. And in 28, there's actually a good chance that we end up with Villa and Everton playing twice. So it'd be a very good double game week for them both, actually. So Villa would have Newcastle and Everton. And Everton would have Burnley and Villa. So we don't know yet. Perhaps they'll confirm this on the deadline. Like they did last week. Last week, obviously, right on the deadline, interestingly, they confirmed all of the double game week fixtures. And the reason this hasn't been confirmed yet is because it was dependent on the Europa League draw. So what will happen is Arsenal and Spurs are going to be playing on the same night in Europa League, which leaves a free midweek for that to be slotted into game week 28. So that's why we might end up with a double game week for both Everton and Villa. So something to keep an eye on. It might even be announced as soon as this deadline, once it comes. And then beyond that, of course, there's blank game week 29, where there's going to be a significant amount of teams blanking. So if you haven't got your free hit, then that's something to plan ahead for, because you're going to want to have assets playing in that week. So potential teams to target would be Leeds, Villa, Tottenham, maybe Arsenal. You know, if you're on a free hit, you could pick up someone like Aubameyang on a punt. He's found a bit of form lately. Maybe Brighton defender. They've been very solid defensively, and they've got Newcastle and blank game week 29. But if you have used your free hit up, then it's something to have at the back of your head, because otherwise you're going to land on this game week and you're going to be in trouble if you're only able to field 4 or 5 players. And you'll end up taking -8s for players that you might not even want long term. And of course there's blank game week 33 as well, which is way ahead, which is perhaps why it's not been talked about much. But those are confirmed blanks for Southampton, City, Spurs and Fulham. So it's going to be very difficult to navigate both those blanks, especially if you've used your free hit up already. Of course, if you've got your free hit, then you can at least navigate one of them. But the other might be a difficult one to get through. So hopefully, on the deadline today, we'll have some additional news that Villa and Everton have a double game week in 28. So that would be 2 double game weeks and 3 game weeks for both those sides. Marcus, how many minutes do you reckon DCL will get over the double? If I had to guess, I would say maybe 160. Maybe he plays 90 against Southampton and then less against West Brom, so that they can, rest him a little bit for the Chelsea game in game week 27. Or it could be the other way around, Southampton, say they go 3-0 up and it's the 70th minute, then maybe they'll bring him off just to play it safe. While we're on the subject of Everton, their last 4 away matches were 2-0, 3-0, 2-1 and 2-1 again. So they've got no problem scoring on the road. And their second fixture of the double is, of course, against West Brom. West Brom, who are renowned for being very poor defensively. And as I say, Everton go away to West Brom. And West Brom's last 5 home fixtures, 1-1, 2-1. They lost 5-0, they lost 4-0, and they lost 5-0. So massive amount of goals they're letting in at home. So it could spell fortunes for those of us with DCL, especially those with DCL Captain. So I'm looking forward to seeing how DCL does over the double. And yeah, to answer your question, I think he'll get decent minutes over the 2 games. So I'm not too worried about that. Josh King, obviously, they picked him up in the January window, and he's an option in striker as well. And Ancelotti did say he's almost ready to be starting, but yeah, fingers crossed that he's not competing for DCL spot. Maybe they'll complement each other. Maybe he'll play the Richarlison role more. Maybe he'll play you know, down the wing, which he's capable of doing as well. Prasius, I'm going for Pereira. Might backfire. Let's see. Pereira's a really strong pick. If it backfires, then it's really unlucky because Leicester have got good fixtures and he's been playing right mid, out of position. And it's well within his locker to get attacking returns. I think it was a couple of seasons ago. He got like 2 goals, 6 assists. Where is he? Last season, of course, he got that injury, so he didn't play a good chunk of the season. 2 goals, 8 assists he got in a couple of seasons ago. Last season, he only played 2,500 minutes, so he got injured, obviously. But he still got 3 goals, 2 assists. No attacking returns from yet this season, but you know, he's just about getting back to his best and full fitness. So he's a really strong pick. Be really unlucky if you don't get something out of him over the double. So I forgot to actually talk about the moves that I made. So Bamford left my team for Kane. Rashford left my team for Smith Rowe. And Ben Mee left my team for Digne. So that was a -4. I had 2 free transfers, luckily. The Alpaca Kid. Is it weird to not captain someone because they play versus your team? No, it's not weird. I think that's pretty normal. A lot of people do that. It's quite difficult to look at FPL fixtures objectively when it involves your own team. For example, in my case, earlier in the season, Liverpool had Arsenal, and I'm an Arsenal fan. And I had the armband on Salah because, ignoring FPL, I did think he would do the best out of the players in my team. And if I remember right, he did score. Or did he get the assist? Got the assist. And I think he did the best out of my options that game week. So, you know, it's difficult to look at it objectively, but sometimes you just have to try and ignore who you support and pick who's the best player on paper. I suppose the good way of looking at it is if you captain someone who's playing your team and they return, then fine, you got the FPL returns. If they blank, then hey, your team probably did well because that player blanked. Obviously, worst case scenario, someone else is the one that does the damage against your team, and then it's like double damage. Don't forget to get your votes in on the captain poll. I'll have a look at those results shortly. So if anyone's not voted, it's on our Discord in the captain poll channel. I'll have a look at the results in a minute. Before we do, I first wanted to have a look at the defensive stats over the last 4 game weeks. Make that a bit smaller. There we go. So this is 4 metrics: goals conceded, expected goals conceded, shots conceded on target, and big chances conceded. So Southampton leading the way in all 4 metrics. 18 goals conceded by them over the last 4. Of an expected goals conceded of 9. So really not good for Southampton right now. They're in a pretty desperate position. So again, those with DCL, I think can be excited for that Southampton game because they're missing so many players now. You know, I'm not sure how they're even going to line up. It might be Bednarek and right back again. I'm not sure how they'd line up in centre mid. Maybe like Ward-Prowse and is it Jankovic? Jankovic's the one who got the red card against Man United about a minute into the game. And at the opposite end of the spectrum is Chelsea, actually, with the lowest expected goals conceded, even less so than Man City. I was actually considering a move which involves selling Stones for Digne and then upgrading Mendy to Edison, because Edison's obviously a lot safer to play the doubles, but I think I'm happy to have Mendy. And then instead I basically upgraded Ben Mee to Digne instead. Leicester with only 8 shots conceded on target. Again, we were talking about Pereira just then. Man City with only 2 big chances conceded. Obviously Man City need no explanation about how good they are defensively. And lastly, this is shots in the last 5 game weeks. And the reason I wanted to include this is because Harry Kane's on here. He's had 13 in the last 4 game weeks, which puts him 3rd. However, he's only played 3 games since returning from injury. So he's made the top 3 despite playing a game less. So again, everything pointing towards, fingers crossed, Harry Kane doing well in the double. Adam, how we doing, mate? Yeah, I'm glad you made the stream. Massive thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. Crazy turnout. Adam, Hausen, James, Lightis, Mr. A, Mr. Ronak, Prasius, Ritik, Stuart, The Flisk, Babel. Appreciate you all being here. Don't forget to like the video while here, and if anyone's not subbed to the channel, do hit the subscribe button. I'm live every game week with a deadline stream and a post game week stream as well to look at how the game week went for us, and always looking forward to the next game week. Sorry if I've missed any messages in chat. Hausen says, hey Focal, need to start one of Dunk, Lowton and Bamford. Any ideas? I would start Bamford, definitely. I would say he's got the highest ceiling of those 3. And Villa missing Matty Cash and Grealish as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how that affects them, but could spell success for Bamford with those players out injured. Stuart's gone triple captain DCL with the rocket emoji. Stuart's going to the moon with his DCL triple captaincy. Hope that goes well for you, Stuart. Vabel's got Loris Stones, DS target, Digne, Bruno, Son, Gundo, Barnes, Kane and DCL. Should have bench boost Martinez, Bamford, Dallas and Smith Rowe. I would be very tempted to, actually, yeah. Have you still got your wildcard, Babel? It depends also if you've got your wildcard. Because if you've got your wildcard, then obviously you can prepare for a bench boost in the future. But if you don't, then I would use it. Appreciate everyone liking the video while you're here. Thank you, Hausen and Pratios. Samuel, is it silly benching triple leads for 11 double game weekers? It's not silly, no. There's definitely some sense in it. Just purely from you know, a mathematical perspective, they're likely to do better purely because they play twice. So there's definitely logic in it, and I know it doesn't feel good having to bench those Leeds players, but you have to favour the double game week players if you've got them. Unless, of course, it's someone like Mitchell, you know, in my case. If I had Bamford, for example, I would be starting him over Mitchell. Right, let's have a look at expected points for Double Gameweek 26. So this is courtesy of FPL Review, and this factors in both fixtures of the double. And this is their predicted points. So Sterling is actually top for predicted points in the double with just over 12 points, followed by Kane with 11.89, Salah 11.8, followed by Jesus, Vardy, Son, Cancelo, KDB, Diaz. Sorry if you could hear my dog there. What's wrong, mate? Maybe there's someone at the door. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, so actually the highest expected points is actually Sterling. I'm a bit surprised by this because Sterling played in the Champions League. He did come off a little bit early, but I do wonder again if we'll see his minutes managed a little bit. You know, as I say, they've got Man United in Game Week 27, so I do worry about rotation, which of course is nothing new for Pep, but they do also factor in predicted minutes here, so that's how they calculate the points. So they've got Sterling with an average expected minutes of 73. So say, for example, I expected him to play 90 in one and then none in the other, so that'd be 45. then his points dropped to just 7.5. But Kane, you feel, is a much more reliable player for starting both games. Monkey Man, how we doing, mate? You've just reminded me, Monkey Man, that I forgot to look at the FPL Focal League standings. So let's have a quick look at that now. And the Monkey Man is still on top. So 625th overall in the world. Followed by Adrian, 1.4k. There's some outrageous ranks here. Chanuf, I don't know if you're still in the chat. I didn't realise you were doing so well. Outrageous rank, 3.3k. Monkey Man, who is your captain? That's what we need to know. I'd like to get in the mind of someone like yourself with such an eye-watering rank. So who is your captain for Double Gameweek 26, Monkey Man? He says, would you play Lowton, who has 2 games, or Rafinha, who has 1 game this week? Oh, that's a tougher one, that. Burnley have got a really poor double game week, so I would be tempted by Rafinha, if I'm honest. Also because Matty Cash is out injured for Villa, which is the side that Rafinha could be bombing down for fair bits of the game. So I would say I'd start Rafinha. I do think Villa are going to struggle without Grealish and Cash, and there's also the rumours that Watkins is injured. Hopefully there's nothing in that, but let's see. Last reminder to vote on the captain poll. We'll have a look at the results now. So here are the results of the captain poll. So Kane is on 51, followed by DCL with 35 votes, Bruno on 27 votes, Salah on 8, only 8 votes for Salah, only 2 votes for Sterling, Vardy and De Bruyne on 4 votes, Gundo on 3, Miss Barnes, he's got 6. 3 votes for other. If anyone here voted for other, I'd love to know who you picked. Let me know. Because when I do these polls, it's just kind of who the players I can think of that would be the standout picks for the double game week. Anyway, while we're on the subject, don't forget to join our Discord. There is a link in the description. Genuinely useful FPL resource. We've got price changes, we've got the lineups, live scores, we've got the stats bot, which is really useful. You can just do info Kane like that, and then the bot will churn up some information about the player. We've got injury updates, the bonus points, game week stats, top 10k stats, the now infamous insider trading bot. I can't wait to see some of the insider moves for the Double Game Week 26. Insider trading, obviously a very controversial, touchy subject this week after the Grealish leaks. News, transfer trends, new players. I mean, there's loads. So get involved. I'll be on the FPL Focal Discord throughout the Double Game Week. Miro says triple captain Brewster. Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably the stand-up triple captaincy if you've still got the chip. I can't think of off the top of my head any players better than Brewster. So yeah, I'd say Brewster triple captain makes a lot of sense. Because you know the problem is with a player like triple captain Gundogan, he might miss one of the games, but with Brewster you might get a pretty safe 3-pointer from him as a triple captain. So yeah, very sensible. I like that. I tweeted this the other day, so I was trying to work out what to actually do for this double game week, and I feel like I'd completely lost my mind by the end of it. I basically had about 12 different routes, and I ended up putting it all in this Excel spreadsheet, so I just know I'm inevitably going to get it completely wrong. But yeah, the route I ended up going down was getting Kane, but there were quite a few different routes that I was considering. So I appreciate everyone that helped me out in the Rate My Team channel on the Discord. Samuel says, are you still in the cup? If not, how did you get knocked out? I think I got knocked out in the blank game week. I didn't use my free hit in the blank. I basically chose to ride it out. without using my free hit, and the guy I came up against uses Wildcard in the blank, which is interesting in itself, really, to Wildcard in a blank game week. But that's what he did, and I only had about 7 or 8 players. It was a small red arrow, but I'm happy to have held on to the free hit, because at least it gives me a couple of ways to get out of blank game week 29 and 33 once those come around. 10 minutes till the deadline. Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. Who's everyone in chat voting or picking as your captain? I'd like to know who you guys are going for. Let me know. I've got the armband on Kane, vice captain Salah. Karen, sorry, just tuned in. No worries. You triple captain Kane or just regular captain? Just regular captain. I've used up the triple captain on Salah back in game week 19 when he had his double. Underwhelming triple captaincy. I always seem to get those wrong. But yeah, I had it on Salah, so no triple captain left. In terms of what I've got left, I've got my wildcard, my free hit, and my bench boost. So I feel pretty good about having those 3 chips still. I'd like to be at a higher rank than I am now. I'm at 100. I think I haven't updated the sidebar actually. I'm about 160k. So hopefully after this game it can be a decent green arrow, as long as Kane delivers. So Salah's gone. Sorry, Jack's gone Salah triple captain. Nice, big shout, Jack, aka J Elders. Hope that pays off. Ben's gone DCL triple. Hojin's gone Bruno triple captain. Monkey Man's triple captain came. Glad to be sharing a boat with Monkey Man. I trust your judgment this season. The season you're having, mate. Sujit's gone came. Vice captain Bruno. Ben says, honestly scared. It is scary. It's the biggest double game week in FPL history. We've never had anything like this. We don't know what's about to happen. Could it be a complete disappointment and we have players missing the second game because of all these fixtures coming thick and fast? Or could we see the all-time record broken, which was this, back in the 2015-2016 season, 226 points from a bench boost, which involved a captain Sanchez. Not even the best captain picking that team, despite getting 50 points from him. Aguero would have made the record even higher. Gomez in goal for 21. I remember that. And Kolarov as well. What a pick he was for City at left back. Denzel says, hey mate, pretty late but glad to be here. No worries mate, glad you made the tail end of the stream. As always, once the stream finishes, I will add the timestamp, so if anyone wanted to go back and watch what we went through, because there was so much squeezed into this one, then you're more than welcome to do so. Loads of good content for catch up, and for the hour and a half wait until we get those lineups, the first lineups of the day. The first fixtures of the double game week is Man City versus West Ham, so hopefully we're going to set off on a strong foot for the double game week with that Man City fixture, because that's a fixture where it could get off to a bad start if one of our players is unexpectedly benched. I was going to sell Stones if he played in the Champions League midweek, but it ended up being Laporte and Diaz who played centre-back, so I've held on to Stones, so hopefully I've assessed that one right, and Stones is the player that gets good minutes over the double. JD, minus 22 as well. Yeah, so that all-time record was off the back of a minus 20. Ridiculous score. I know, it isn't sure a decent captain shout. I'm not sure about decent captain shout. Man United have got Chelsea, which could be a tough fixture. He could do well, sure, but it's high risk, high reward, that one. I would rate Bruno, Kane, DCL, Salah all above for sure captain pick, to be honest. But there is a historical trend of defenders doing it very, very well in the double. You know, you look back only as recently as double game week 19 when Stones got Was it 27? 21? 21 points. Yeah, he got a brace in the first of the two, and then he got a clean sheet in the second. So yeah, it was 27 when combining the two. So the question is which defender though, right? It's hard to say. Falston says never back the early kickoff. That's true. That's another reason not to captain a City asset. If we knew a City asset would play both games, like Gundogan even, I would have the armband on Gundogan. Anyone in chat who's got KDB? It's crazy to say, but KDB's emerged as a differential. I think he's about 11 or 12% owned right now. Let's go Man City. I mean, when was the last time we went into a double game week with KDB only 12.2% owned? He played 10 against Everton, 62 against Arsenal, 25, and he played in the Champions League, I think, as well. So Pep Guardiola confirmed in the press conference that he's back to full fitness and ready to play. Ishan, Wan-Bissaka or Bamford, who to play? I would say Wan-Bissaka because he's got the double. Samuel reckons Digne could be the king of the game week. Oh, I hope so, mate. Digne's got it well within his locker to get attacking returns, so I'd be more than happy if he ends up with an assist and a clean sheet over the two. 8 assists this season, which has tied the record that he set last season when he got 8 assists as well. But what's ridiculous is if we look at his minutes, he's played less than half the amount of minutes he played last season. 1,421 minutes, but last season he played over 3,000 when he got 8 assists. The only thing is, with James Rodriguez back on the side, they're sharing set pieces, whereas Digne was on a lot of the set pieces last season, which made him very, very appealing. But he's still a very strong pick, and as I say, there's a chance of a double game week 28 for both Everton and Villa. Ben Hiley, Konsa or Dallas? Konsa because he's got the double. Ben Saunders, Shaw or Keane? Is that who to start or who to bring in? Hopefully there's some Everton fans in the chat who can tell me, but I don't know how nailed Keane is. I think he's been rotated a little bit because they've got Godfrey, they've got Keane. Oh, maybe Mina's out actually. I think Mina might be injured, so Keane would be a more obvious pick there. Is that right? Yeah, Mina's injured actually. Calf injury. I would say, it's a tough one though, because you don't know about the double game week 28. If you fancy a punt, I'd say go for Keane. Two minutes till the deadline, everyone. Don't forget to double check your team. Make sure your captain's right. Your bench is in the right order. So mine's Mitchell, Smith Rowe, Sufa. I'm happy to leave it like that. Perfect. And don't forget to like the video while you're here, before you go. Don't forget to sub to the channel. I've had a few subs come in actually while we've been live, so thank you to those people. Yeah, we've gone up by 4 subs, so I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, everyone. I will be back for a post Double Game Week 26 stream. Hopefully I'll have a massive grin on my face once that stream starts from a massive score, but we'll have to see. Hopefully Kane comes in clutch, but yeah, fingers crossed. Michael, me or Dallas? Me just edges it because he's got the double. Precious has got James Rodriguez. Nice. Differential James. He's been a bit underwhelming, James Rodriguez. He started the season very, very strong. I started the season with Dele Alli in Game Week 1, and then I realised very quickly the mistake I'd made, so I sold him for James Rodriguez. And then James Rodriguez absolutely smashed it through the following few weeks that I owned him. And then he got an injury, so I sold him, and I didn't ever get him back after that. That is the deadline. We made it. The biggest double game week in FPL history. Fingers crossed for some massive scores. I hope everyone in chat hits the 100-point mark. Armband is on Kane. Vice captain Salah. So in terms of the fixtures, we start off with Man City versus West Ham, West Brom versus Brighton, Leeds versus Villa, Newcastle versus Wolves. What do you guys think for today's fixtures, scores-wise? Man City versus West Ham is going to be an interesting one. I really hope that we'll see Gundogan start. He did play 90 in the Champions League, so I'm slightly worried that we'll see his minutes managed. Could spell disaster if we see him benched and then someone else like Stones benched. I don't know if Pep trusts Stones and Laporte as a centre-back pairing. Could be famous last words, but hopefully we'll see Stones-Diaz centre-back pairing, which is their best right now. Jack Elderton, cheers FPL Focal for organising and running such a great community. Oh, it's a pleasure. Pleasure's all mine. I really enjoyed doing this. It's amazing, the community we've grown. I mean, we've blew past 1,000 members on our Discord already, and it's only been a few months since we started doing this. I'm still kind of finding the formula and the right format to do these streams, but I feel pretty settled on them and how it all is now. One thing I'd like to start doing is smaller videos, but it's a bit of a grind to be doing shorter videos as well, editing those throughout the week, so I'm not quite there yet. I'm happy to just do these live streams for now. Prasius reckons a 2-0 City win. Hajian 1-0 City win. Brighton West Brom. It's not the most enticing fixture at 3 o'clock. You reckon a 1-0 Brighton win though? Grove says Laporte won't start. He started in the Champions League, didn't he? So I hope so. Has there been any late news on Reddit? Let's have a look. No Sterling. Oh, I don't know whose account this is. This is probably not a reliable source. There was a post on Reddit that said no Sterling, but it's from a West Ham account, so I don't know how they would have any links or leaks for Man City. Need another 21 pointer from Stones, Stuart says. Yeah, let's hope so. I'd absolutely take that. He would be an absolute FPL legend for me. Down in the history books if he gets a haul again in this double game week. What's amazing as well, City have got this double game week, and then 27 they've got another double game week. Both of them home fixtures again. It's crazy. Sam says, desperate to see my cup opponent's team. Great stream today, by the way. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you tuning in. So this double game week starts today and it finishes on Thursday. So we've got football every day. Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's a lot of football, innit? Do you guys like it when there's that much football, or do you find it a bit exhausting to keep up? I personally quite like it because it's something to look forward to after work. When you're having a long day at work, you just think, oh, at least there's football tonight and I've got this player to look forward to. And every game during the week, I'm going to have players. Monday, I'll have DCL and Digne. Tuesday, with the Man City Wolves game, I'll have the triple City players. Wednesday, there's 3 fixtures. Thursday, there's more fixtures. Lucky man, I've got a reliable source that says FPL Focal will replace Cancelo in City's lineup. I don't know about that, mate. I did actually used to play left back when I was much younger. But yeah, as I've got older, I've moved into centre mid, so I'm actually a central midfielder now. I think I'm probably competing for Gundogan's spot, if anything. Can we, does this work? Let's change that. Change Gundogan. There we go, FPL Focal. In centre mid. Don't worry, guys. I got you for the double. For the West Ham game, I'm going to try and get an assist for you guys. For the Wolves game, I'm going to bomb forward more. I'm going to play more box to box for that game. And I'll try and get a goal against Wolves for you guys. There you go, captain for FPL Focal. Imagine if that actually updated and I accidentally switched to Gundogan. I better not mess about with that. Stuart says, what price are you? I'm only priced at 4.5. They got it completely wrong when they priced me. 4.5 midfielder, FPL Focal. Mikey Man says, make a team of Discord members. That's a good shout. I should do that. Yeah, one thing, remind me if I ever forget, but I do want to keep tracking the FPL Focal Mini League. Which, of course, you are top of at the moment, Monkey Man. Having an outrageous season. Hopefully you can break into the top 500 this game week. Oh, sorry, are you already top 500? I forget where you are now. Stick fast in centre back. I've played football quite a few times with Faston. He is a pretty solid centre back. Difficult player to get past. I've played opposite him and with him before. Adam, FPL Focal replacement thread. Internet issues. 25% chance of streaming. FPL Focal regret thread. Bargain. Essential. Stick me in at CB. Anyway. That's it, guys. I don't know. I don't want to stick around too much longer because I just start to ramble once I've got through all the content and stuff I prepared. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Had a ridiculous turnout for this one, so I appreciate everyone showing up. I hope everyone has a really, really good Double Gameweek 26. Some big scores. I will be back for a post Double Gameweek 26 stream. I don't know when that will be yet. Perhaps on Thursday. That might be a sensible time to do it because that's when the last fixture of the Double Game Week is over. But in the meantime, thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. And the party carries on the Discord, so I'll see you guys on the Discord. But for now, see you later, guys.